The motivation for excellence, the preparation for success requires a well-minded body. Iron Mentality transforms the lives of over 500 Baltimore youth through education, experiences, and mental health resources. Join us today and let our experience inspire you to create a culture of wellness. Hello, everyone. I'm Darren Rogers, Executive Director of Iron Mentality Youth Male Empowerment Project, and I want to welcome you guys to the Culture of Wellness. To the left of me are two of my esteemed colleagues. I have Stephen Calvert and Hassan Barnes, and I'll allow Stephen to introduce himself.
How you doing? My name is Stephen Calvert. I am a certified rehabilitation counselor and a licensed clinical professional counselor.
Thanks, Stephen. My name is Hassan Barnes. I'm an operations manager with Iron Mentality, as well as a psychiatric rehabilitation counselor.
Stephen, I want to start off with some questions for you. And my first question is, what do you do in partnership with Iron Mentality?
So, like I said, I am a licensed clinical professional counselor, so I work with the youth and provide individual and group counseling to some of the youth that's in the Iron Mentality program.
What does therapy look like, and what do some of the mentoring sessions look like?
So therapy varies depending on what stage that you have with the client. When I am meeting somebody for the first time or second early session, it's all about building rapport. One of the most important things in therapy is having a good client-counselor relationship. If the client-counselor relationship isn't intact, then that individual is going to have issues with coming out and explaining some of the things that's going on with their life. So making sure that everything is comfortable and the rapport is built. When someone that is you having a therapy session with and you are few sessions in, maybe a month or 2 months in, then it's all about getting to the presenting problem, talking about what's going on, some things, issues that they're facing, and some things and how to fix it.
But share a little bit about yourself and the way that you engage with youth and Iron Mentality from a training and developmental perspective around mental health.
So I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor and a licensed clinical professional counselor. So I like to incorporate both the vocational aspect as well as the mental health aspect when working with the youth. I like to teach about financial literacy, job placement, things like that, as well as addressing some of the mental health concerns as well to help all these things go better.
What are some of the common mental health challenges and needs of the youth you serve?
I think one of the biggest things is helping individuals get comfortable in their skin, letting them know that it's okay to feel how you feel. A lot of times with society, social media, TV, movies, music, there's a script of how you're supposed to feel, how you're supposed to act, things like that. Especially dealing with young men, that macho attitude is something that's very prevalent. So it's saying it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to have your feelings hurt. It's okay to feel different types of things. It's one of the things that is important to teach these young adolescents that we're working with, that it's okay to feel, and figuring out how to respond accordingly and respond healthy.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to direct some of my questions to Hassan. And my question is, just in your position, what are some of your goals that you have for young people?
Yeah, I would say definitely some of the goals are based around everything that they're not learning in school, especially around their mental health and how to cope with the daily living things that they go through. Most of us, we get the opportunity to be 17, 18, and then we decide to be an adult. A lot of the youth that we work with who are 7 to 17 years old have already been pushed into that life. And we really want to give them goals and steps towards the things that they can't learn in school, such as communication skills, being able to effectively communicate, conflict resolution skills, financial literacy skills, all as it relates to their mental health, because with their mental health being a key focus on how they're going to develop the rest of their life, we want to make sure that we focus on those things and give them the skills to cope with being adults as youth.
Can you describe a situation in which you've seen transformation in some of the youth you serve?
Yep, of course. One issue that I find is a lot of the youth have, sort of as Stephen mentioned, this macho attitude towards each other, as well as towards family members. Two young men that I work with, they're brothers and they're siblings. They have issues with communicating and, the same sibling arguments that you have at the house, or who's going to do the dishes, who's going to clean up, who took my laptop and who's using my phone and they shouldn't be using it. Those are the things that they had arguments with, but being able to speak with them individually, as well as allowing them to enter some of the Iron Mentality group sessions, such as the ones that Stephen runs, allows them to see themselves as brothers who love each other and not so much, brothers who need to be tearing each other down like they do other people in the streets. That transformation of them being siblings but separate, and just turning them straight into brothers who love each other, who want to see each other do well, which is something that's hard as youth. Usually you get to 32 years old and then now you want to reconnect with your brothers and sisters that you really didn't connect so much with as a youth. I think it's great for them to have that relationship now.
Yep, I think that's powerful as well. Kind of leaning into that relationship management and some of the challenges that happens within that. Speaking of challenges, Stephen, I want to ask you, what are some of the challenges you face providing mental health services to disadvantaged youth and families?
I would say one of the challenges, adequate mental health services by professionals that look like you and that can understand cultural backgrounds, that can understand family dynamics and things like that that's in with your specific community. I got my license at 29 years old. I started meeting with families. Everyone was like, oh my goodness, I need you to come here. I need you, a lot of students and a lot of adolescents that I meet with can relate to me just off top, and being able to talk to them and meeting them where they're at is very important. So somebody they could be in front of that's not going to belittle them, somebody that's going to understand where they're coming from, and someone that's going to understand the culture where they come from and the family dynamics that they coming from as well.
Yep, I think that's very powerful. We all know that there's a stigma in the black community associated with mental health, and you being, an African-American male, being able to speak to young men and women that they are 100% sure that you have the cultural relevance, so that's not a barrier. So the last thing that I wanted to ask you, Stephen, was for a person that's watching this show, when should they pursue mental health services, and what can you do if you're attempting to build your mental health and or sustain your mental health?
So everything that we do that lasts a long period of time needs maintenance, right? Every 3,000, 6,000 miles, your car, you need to take it for an oil change. Every 6 months, you have to change the filter on your HVAC. And I think it's the same thing that applies to your mental health. So you need that mental health maintenance. I like to say that you don't want to wait till your check engine light comes on to take your car for the first time to the auto mechanic. You want to get these things worked on all the way throughout you whenever you can. Some things that you could check, some things that happen that you could realize that, hey, I need to go speak to somebody. You could find out that you're always on edge. You're constantly upset. You're getting angry. You may be depressed. You may be going over some family trauma, or there's some trauma in your life that's affecting your social life or your work life. Those are different things that you could see that you may, hey, you know what, I may need to go and speak to somebody.
So if, let's say, my mental health is not challenged at this time, but I want to build on it and I want to sustain it, what are some things that I could possibly do to build and sustain my mental health?
First thing is self-care. Everybody has to care about themselves, and taking care of your body, sleeping well, eating well, making sure that you're getting some of that physical exercise and things that you need. Also, the crowd around you. I know that sometimes that people have downers around them, and trying to stay away from people like that, that's going to bring your attitude and things like that down. But ultimately, staying physically, mentally well, making sure that you're eating right, and so all those things tied can be connected to a better mental health.
Yep, I think that's powerful. So you kind of dove into like your social network and how the tie-in between your physical health and your mental health is just so important. So I just wanted to thank you both just for your engagement in this, and as well as coming out with us today. And now we're going to hear from some of the youth leaders at I Am Mentality. So I would like for you guys to introduce yourself, and I'll start with you.
My name is Davin Johnson. I am a youth leader at I Am Mentality.
My name is Jelani Draper, and I'm a youth leader at I Am Mentality.
My name is Brian Lee, and I'm a youth leader at I Am Mentality.
Devin, the question I have for you is, what caused you to enroll in therapy?
I enroll in therapy sessions because of traumas dealing with my youth, and I Am Mentality helped me find a good therapist.
Jelani, my question for you is, what has been the impact of your engagement in therapy?
The impact of me engaging in therapy, it has helped me to have a better thinking process, being able just having someone to talk to, and processing my problems better.
We all know that there's a stigma in the black community associated with mental health. So, Brian, the question that I have for you is, what are your thoughts around the stigma of mental health in the black community?
I feel as though a lot of black people should find and go to therapy because there is no problem with it. Nobody is perfect in this world, and I feel as though everyone always can seek for help. It's easy to find as well.
What do you want other people to know about therapy?
There is no problem with finding a therapist. Like I said before, nobody in this world is perfect. We all have problems, and at the end of the day, you can't hide your emotions with everyone.
So, Jelani, can you share what you would say to another young man around your age if he was considering enrolling into therapy?
I would tell him to not be afraid to tell your therapist or your mentor truly about how you feel. It's just a working process to get comfortable with them and being able to express yourself to help them help you process about what you can do in different situations.
So the question that I have for you, Devin, is if I was on the fence about enrolling in therapy, what advice would you give me?
I would say don't be afraid to express yourself and just be true on what you think. And if you got something you want to stick to, you should be able to stick to it without no judgmental or don't be afraid.
I just want to thank each of you for your engagement in I Am Mentality, today's show, and just the value that you add to the community. And I want to thank you as the viewers for joining us for a Cultural Wellness. Cultural Wellness, brought to you by I Am Mentality, a Baltimore-based nonprofit focusing on assisting male youth with developing their leadership capacity by offering educational and experiential opportunities. Our mission is to enlighten the minds of male youth through mentorship and leadership development. We need volunteers. We need donations. We need your support. Learn more about I Am Mentality by visiting www.iammentality.com.